Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John McCarthy on behalf of Water Our Garden City. I welcome you to our information evening tonight. And just as we get going, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Terry Keenan and the Ngunnawal people who is here tonight. This meeting is a public information meeting. Obviously, people have different opinions about the government's proposal to recycle sewage and other matters. It should be made clear at the outset that Water Our Garden City has invited the speakers to express their honest opinions in talking tonight and in answering questions, informed as best they can be by what facts they've been able to glean from ACTU or the ACT government. We have asked them to check their background and facts as best they can, given the lack of availability of detailed factual information in several important respects, but we have not attempted to censor, muzzle or direct their expression of opinion. On the contrary, we feel that the public has been denied expression of informed opinion in this matter, and differing opinions deserve to be heard so that the public interest is properly served. In particular, Water Our Garden City, like many Canberra and Queanbeyan residents, takes strong exception to the waste of public money on a spin campaign by ACTU and the ACT government, which has not answered so many questions from the public. Tonight is an attempt to start righting the balance and restore genuine democratic input into this decision making. The public has a right to be informed by intelligent opinion, to form a judgment and to be heard. We have three speakers tonight. The first is Mr. Charles Speldewinder, MBE, water engineer with the National Capital Development Commission 1959 to 1972, who is an engineer with a long experience with ACT water infrastructure, and he will speak about the history and development of that infrastructure and its role in creating a garden city. Following him will be Dr. Terry Dwyer, who is a Harvard PhD in economics, a barrister and solicitor, and a visiting fellow at the Crawford School of Economics and Government, Australian National University. And he will talk about the economics of water supply and the sewage recycling proposal. We will next hear about possible health risks from Professor Peter Collignon, infectious diseases physician and microbiologist, who practices at all the hospitals in Canberra and who is Professor School of Clinical Medicine at the ANU. The speakers will be then joined by panellist Mr. Reg Goldfinch, member of the Institute of Engineers and one of the designers of the ACT water infrastructure, who supervised the construction of the Googong Dam, and also will be joined by Professor Ian White from the Centre for Resource and Environmental Studies at the Australian National University. But please note our speakers and panellists tonight will be expressing their own opinions rather than those of any institution to which they are or may have been affiliated. We value their contribution tonight even more for that fact. The speakers and panellists have said they will be willing to answer your questions, so we will circulate some paper so that you can write your questions down and give them to me as chairman to pass on to the panel. We'll also be circulating forms for you to fill in your contact details, especially your email contact details, if you wish, to receive further information from us on this issue. We hope to continue informing the public of Canberra and Queanbeyan as to the real background to water infrastructure and failure of adequate supply. At the end of the evening, we will have copies of our speakers' talks available, as well as some other academic papers by them on Canberra's water situation. The speakers will also be available for media interviews if any of the media are here and want to speak with them. We thank you for coming here tonight and trust your interest will be rewarded. And I'd like to start tonight's proceedings by asking Mr. Charles Speldewinder to come to the rostrum and speak with us. The rostrum will come to Charles.
Just like Muhammad. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity of giving you the background of the headworks of the Canberra water supply. By headworks, I mean things like dams, storages, pumping stations, big pipelines, and water treatment works. Not the sort of thing that one will see in the suburbs. The first slide I've got is stark in its simplicity, but with its very starkness and simplicity, I hope you'll get the picture of the Canberra water supply. I hope you get the picture. First of all, we all have heard of federation, but the federation that most of us have heard of is a noun, the Federation of Australia, and that sort of thing. But today, the federation that I'm talking about is the federation is used as an adjective, and it is the Federation drought of 1897 to 1903, which had left an indelible impression on our founding fathers. And when they came to deciding on the national capital, they well decided that they would be quite sure it had an ample, adequate, and clean source of water. Now, the first go at the national capital was not of the ACT, Federal Capital Territory, was not the capital territory that we know of. But in the first instance, all that the territory was going to be was the Cotter and the Queanbeyan rivers. And there was a big hole in the middle where nothing was. It was in fact an U-shaped thing, on this side bound by the Cotter, on that side by the Queanbeyan and Monongahela rivers. However, the founding father said, look son, you were briefed, Burley Griffin to prevail a town for 25,000. He made one for 50,000. For heaven's sake, you've asked him for a country which can supply several hundreds of thousands. You really don't need all that. So I'll tell you what they said. We'll take back the Monongahela River. We'll give you the Queanbeyan River, but not in total. We'll only give you the paramount water rights of the Queanbeyan River. And in exchange for losing out from the Monongahela and Queanbeyan, we'll give you this portion. And so the U-shaped original Federal Capital Territory became the shape that we know now. We've all heard of Surveyor Charles Scribner. His name is perpetuated in the dam that impounds the Lake Burley Griffin. He was given, as a common surgeon, the task of locating in detail where the federal capital was going to be broadly in the Yass River. And so he decided that he'd pick as many rivers as he can, which is the rivers that we mentioned. But finally, it came down to really one big one, which is the Cotter and the Queanbeyan. Now, he was also, and this is by the way, also told, why don't you get something which will make a good ornamental lake in Canberra? And so he did that as well. Now, there was one of the earliest favorites for the dam supply, water supply, was the Naas-Gudgeonbeck catchment area over that way. Now, that's the one which is coming into prominence today with the name of Tennant. But what happened was, it was decided that the Cotter system was closer to Canberra than the Naas-Gudgeonbeck, so why don't we develop the Cotter system? And I'm sure that was a very good decision indeed. In fact, when Scribner picked out the Cotter, he also said that it allowed one to have a gravity supply to Canberra.